Welcome to You Know Something with Dena
Hey, look, I'm just here to entertain, inform, and keep this crazy train on track.
and Tia.
Me, unlike your live wire that is liable to go shoo-boom.
They're like your cool aunts.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
Fun,
I can't believe you even brought that up. That is so fun.
informative,
It's impossible to dust potpourris.
You can't.
sometimes serious.
Dena, sweet child. I am almost stunned. I mean, I'm being really serious.
But most of the time, not so much.
A caca. I mean, you're caca and you're caca. No. I'm sorry.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Ladies, let's go.
Hello, welcome to You Know Something with Dena and Tia. I'm Dena.
And I'm Tia.
Hello, Miss Tia.
Howdy.
Tia, you know we always surprise you with the topic, but today you're in on it again. You're just producing left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Last week you did half produce with our, just what do you mean by that, volume 6. I thought that was a good one. And then you actually sent me an article and wondered, could we make an episode from this?
I just came across it, and I just thought it was pretty cool. It's like 15 qualities that make a unique person, or make a person unique.
Unique, exactly. But then I started thinking about it, like, okay, well, we all know we have different color hair, different eyes, different parents, different experiences. That's kind of, yeah, we do. But then I started thinking about, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? How does that affect our relationships? Kind of went a little deeper with it, but I think we can still have fun with it. I think it can help us understand why we are never going to agree on all things. There's no way. And that trying to understand how some people are coming from a different place. And sometimes I think people say stupid things and their comments are stupid and their beliefs are stupid.
You think?
Sometimes, don't you think?
Of course I do.
Okay, thank you. And we do use the word stupid here. It's a safe place for stupid. I'm just kidding, really. I don't mean stupid. Just, I don't understand it. How could they come to that conclusion? And they're different than ours. Opinions are very different than ours. So maybe we can be better at communicating with others if we can just accept others and love others who are idiots.
No,
I'm just kidding.
you love others just as they are.
Right. And you'd be less frustrated because it can be frustrating sometimes. All those opinions are in your brain. I know you probably don't spend as much time on social media sites as I do.
No, I don't. I'm never on them, hardly.
Yeah, which is great. But, I go on there to put up our posts and, you'll see what's above it and what's below it. And then you start scrolling, you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And that leads to something else they show you. And I realize I'm exhausted by the time I finish. My brain is so full of so many different people's opinions on what they're doing. And even if it's good stuff, it's just overwhelming. Do you agree with that?
I do.
It's hard to go to sleep after I do that.
Well, so that's why I don't ever do it.
Smart girl. But if you think about it, before the internet, we had a natural tendency to surround ourselves with people that are like us.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to hang around somebody who's always disagreeing with you. Occasionally it's fine, but you'd be like, gosh, you're so contrary. But those people have always been around that had crazy opinions or opinions different from us. We just didn't either meet them, know about them, or we just didn't hang around them anymore. We stayed with like-minded people. So I think it's natural not to want to hang out with them. But now, with our phones, we're both holding one, we have access to billions, not just millions, but billions of opinions of people all over the world who have lived different lives than us. And there's going to be divisiveness, and it's amplified because of that accessibility to the millions of opinions across the world. Just in our palms. All we got to do is swipe, swipe, swipe. And we see all these different ideas and opinions and stuff. So I think this conversation, and maybe it's just for me, I'll see what you have to say, but will calm my soul a little bit, calm my mind a little bit.
Okay.
Do you have a tendency, Tia, to try to convince people to believe like you believe if you don't understand how they could believe that? If it's somebody you care about, do you delve into when they say something you think, how could they think that? And try to understand where they're coming
It depends on what they're talking about.
from? Okay.
If it's like, let's just say if it's politics, I don't think you're really going to change somebody's opinion, on what they believe politically.
Mm-hmm.
If it's religion, yes, I will. Only because I just want to give them as many facts and the knowledge to at least take it, chew on it, and if they still disagree or whatever, or they don't believe the same way that I do, then God takes it from there. So I don't.
Yeah. We're kind of called to do that. I mean, it's kind of
But
what are we doing if we're not doing that? I mean, it's
Right.
not something constant, but I'm like you. It's hard to just let that go by. If somebody says something that you feel like you could help them, you could bring them peace by saying, "This is what helps me."
right.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
But I mean, I think that we are called to do that. Period.
Right. Right.
But like, is it like fashion or something? Nah, I'm not gonna waste my time.
Why did you wear that with that?
Yeah.
I have heard you say before. Is that are you wearing that? Are you wearing a fill in the blank? So I think she's trying to process what's going on.
Who, me?
Mm-hmm. I've heard you say that.
Okay.
Probably to me, actually.
Well, I don't remember saying that.
But that's okay. It's okay. It didn't hurt my feelings. All right, we're really not going to be like, we're all special, unique snowflakes, and no two of us are alike. And maybe that's what you intended to do, and you can say that to you if you want, but I'm just trying to make it a productive, positive thing, and it really made me think after I read it like the third time. I thought, wait a minute. So let's just get into it. And I want to ask you, is it okay instead of me saying unique, can I say unique?
If you want to.
Just kidding.
I mean, because then you'll come out like Sunday and say, I just need to apologize for mispronouncing unique. I know what the word is, but for whatever reason, I just use that.
Why did I keep saying unique? I say that because I was tired. I was up late last night and I was reading over, how words start to look weird, like that can't be the real word or how it spells, and you keep seeing it. And I kept thinking, unique. But
Or unique up on it.
unique up on me. Okay, we digress.
Wow.
All right, let's get into it. You want
Okay.
to?
You want to.
Okay. Your unique characteristics distinguish you from others. It's not like a wooden sign on the wall says, you are uniquely you, be you. It's literally, we are different from each other. We can't be the person we know, no matter how we dress like them, wear our hair like them, wear the perfume that they wear. You're not going to be that person.
Right.
Too unique. Have you ever smelled somebody with a perfume on and bought it and it just didn't
Yes.
smell the same on you?
Yes.
Isn't that funny?
I know, it is weird because I'm like, that doesn't smell anything like what it smelled like on her. And
That's
so,
right.
yes, I have.
It's because she's unique from you.
Okay, we're going to go. We're going to have to say
It's the last
apologies
time
on- Okay.
But for a world to function, people have to be different. You have to be able to distinguish people from each other. Even if if we all were cloned and looked exactly the same, we would have to have unique differences. Or how would you know you were sleeping in the bed with your actual husband? There's a reason why we are designed to all be different, practically. Chew on that. All right. So first of all, genetics, which is kind of what I was talking about. Genetics and DNA. You have different parents than I had.
Right.
Therefore, we had no control over that. That comes from our genetics, our DNA. I mean, obviously. But we each receive one copy of each chromosome from our mother and our father. And your DNA is, you think, well, why don't I look exactly like my sibling? Why is there a difference, right? And according to this article, your DNA will differ from a sibling because they will receive different copies of the chromosome, making you and your sibling distinctive in your own ways. aside from identical twins, it might be hard for you to tell identical twins apart, but the parent's going to be able to.
Exactly.
And once you get to know the identical twins, I went to school with, and you just know. You
Right.
can just tell. And their personalities although they have a lot of things in common, we should do a show on twins because it's really fascinating. I was reading about it the other day, but they're still unique in their own ways. All right, so if you think about you and your sibling, we both have a sister. We have that in common. How similar are y'all in looks?
Really, none at all.
Same set of parents, right?
Right.
It's interesting, isn't it?
I know.
And if you'd had, I see there's a family I follow. It's kind of a celebrity family, and he's very dark skin, dark eyes, and she has dark eyes but like light hair. And they've had I think they're on their 5th child, and they're all so different. Like one will have blonde hair, brown eyes. One even has blue eyes, which must have come from a previous generation. But how that works is fascinating to me.
No, it
Chromosome.
is. It's completely fascinating.
Yeah. And sometimes, have you noticed, parents, they're not really necessarily attractive. Like you see a supermodel that you've just known all your life and how beautiful they are, and then you see their parents, and you think, how'd that I mean, that's her parents, really? But you could look and see, oh, she has his eyes, and she has her mom's smile, but with them, they weren't unique looking, but when that all came together, it made this unique, gorgeous, and by the same token, sometimes model actresses have, their kids are not, don't.
I don't know.
Say it for me.
I don't know.
They're not always gorgeous,
Well, it depends on what you define as gorgeous.
Yeah, but let's just say the norm of what you would define as having features of somebody very attractive sometimes. And I wonder about those kids. I think, how did this happen? I had these 2 perfect specimens for parents, and again, that's genetics. I'm not trying to be mean. Genetics are interesting,
Right.
to me. So that makes you unique. There's nothing you can do about that. So your hair, skin, eyes, even your body type. You could have a sibling and your bodies are just different. You might have like your dad's legs and your mom's torso, but she's got the other, and that can sometimes affect how you feel about yourself.
Well, what do you think about you and your sister?
Do you think we look alike?
I just think your eyes, especially the way she does hers sometimes, your eyes, I think, look real similar.
Yeah. I notice like speech patterns sometimes are alike. I think you can tell we're sisters, but we're very different physically, I think. We both have blue eyes. That's really about it, I'd say. But I can see like her turn her head a certain way or move her mouth a certain way, and I think, that reminded me of me, which is kind of a weird feeling. So I can't imagine how twins feel. What about you and your sister?
No.
No, not at all.
I don't think there's... she has blue eyes. I have hazel. When I was young, I had really jet black hair. She was blonde.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah.
She's really tall. I'm not.
What's funny, I think I've only met her one time in person at a party, and we were cleaning up, and I was talking to her, and she had your speech pattern and your mannerism. I thought, that reminds me of...
Really?
Yeah, that reminds me.
Oh,
I would have
wow.
known she was your sister without knowing she was your sister. So, you probably just don't see it.
Probably.
So someone who's shorter or taller than average, an extreme height difference, will have a different experience growing up than someone who's just average height, nondescript height. If you think about a little person or an extremely tall person, they're always going to say, how's the weather up there? It's going to affect your personality and
Exactly.
your view of the world. Redheads, that could be a negative experience, although I think red hair is gorgeous and it's very
I do
unique.
too.
Yeah. But again, you're going to see life differently than somebody who's just, fits in, blends in, I guess. Extreme weight differences can affect you. When we're young, we all want to fit in. I think that's our most important thing. We come home and say, everybody's saying I don't look like they do, or they're saying...
I know, but you're saying fit in, and that's what I think we did. We always wanted to fit in when we were growing up. However, I think now it's harder for kids because they see things on TV or social media and they feel that they're less than if they don't look or weigh or whatever a certain way. And I think that is detrimental.
Absolutely.
To a
Yeah, we
lot
were
of
just
kids.
worried about looking like the popular girls,
Well, no,
wearing
we were
what they
just
wore, but now it's like,
Like, oh, well, I get invited to that party. That's pretty much.
yeah. But I'm hoping maybe that's counteracted by now people like to be unique. You know, this is me, this is, people say my truth, or this is the way I express myself. You don't want to be like everybody else. I hope that it maybe kind of balances itself out. I don't know. When you are that age, when you're young, your brain is still forming. So all these insults you hear or differences you start to notice, people's comments will help to form your brain and how you feel about life. Personality. From the day you're born, your personality begins to form your character, your temperament, and your behavior. According to verywellmind.com, our personality traits are caused by your genes, your genetics. Part of it is. The fact that children exhibit personality characteristics in infancy suggests that genetics play a part, but changes in that personality over time also point to the nurture component as well, like how you were raised. Kids display early signs of their personality in the form of their temperament, which is estimated to be about 20 to 60% due to genetics. And I was thinking about my niece, London. She would roll her eyes at me when she was like 3 months old, and she still does that. I mean, I feel like she's exactly the same person she was when she was in a bassinet. What were you going to say?
What? She rolled her eyes at you?
I said,
No.
look, she just rolled her eyes at me when I said something stupid. I don't know what I said. So I feel like babies, a lot of what a baby is when they're born. It's just in their genetics. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
That's what I was going to say because, I mean, London is extremely talented.
I guess when you grow up you meet a baby, it's in your family when they're born. As they grow up, you just feel like they're the same. They get a little taller, as long as you're with them regularly. But according to this, the research, 20 to 60% is you were born being the baby you're going to be. Just like some babies cry and want to be held, and other babies like to be alone and play, or they don't push you away.
Right.
That's your personality. So you can't control that either. Did you and your sister have the same temperament? Did your mom ever tell you, you were such a good baby, or you were the fussy baby, or...
I don't know.
You
I mean, I'm really having to I'm struggling with that question because I was her I protected her.
Yeah.
That's what.
You were the older sister and I was the younger sister. So
Right.
we have talked about that dynamic. That makes a big difference.
Yes.
I would say my sister was, because she was firstborn, she matured faster. She was more responsible. And I was more independent. I could play in my room alone because, I don't know if it's because I'm second born, if I was just born that way. So were you or your sister more outgoing?
I was totally independent, for sure. But I was the first born.
Yeah, interesting.
And I didn't have any trouble playing by myself.
Was one of you a daddy's girl or a mama's girl?
I was a daddy's girl when I was little, up until like 7. And then I think Sabrina was always mama's girl.
Okay.
Always.
That's interesting. Okay. So your temperament includes the basic dispositional traits that you are largely born with. It is temperament that influences how to behave during social interactions and how you respond to the environment. Such experiences then play a part in shaping the development of your personality. And there's something called the Big Five model. Personality is composed of 5 broad dimensions. Individual personalities may either be high, low, or somewhere in between of each of the 5 core traits. Evidence suggests that these Big Five personality traits tend to be inherited to a certain degree. The 5 traits that make up personality and are influenced by genetics are openness, that's creative, open to try new things, happy to think about new abstract concepts. Would you say you were open like that?
Very.
Consciousness, high levels of thoughtfulness, good impulse control, and goal-directed behaviors.
No.
Why do you say that?
Well, because, I always had goals. I wasn't lazy. And I was task-oriented. It's just that, sometimes I just didn't stick through it.
Okay. Yeah. I would say, just as I know you, you have a high level of thoughtfulness, and I think you have good impulse control. But I've met you later in life where you're mature.
Well, yeah, because I did not have impulse control earlier.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
None.
And goal-directed behaviors. I feel like maybe you had short-term goal-directed behaviors, like
Probably.
we're going to a party and I'm going to make it perfect. I'm going to dress for the night. I'm going to plan my outfit.
Right.
That kind of thing. But maybe you didn't have a long-term goal that you stuck to. It changed. You were influenced by new things.
And I mean, the older you get, wow, everything changes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Hopefully. Really.
Yes. Hopefully, yes.
Some people it does. Extroversion. Sociability, talkativeness, assertiveness, and excitability. Were you outgoing from day one, you think?
Yes.
What about your sister? Was she outgoing?
No. I think she was a more introvert especially when she was young.
Okay. I only keep bringing up your sister because you come from the same genetic
Right.
background. It's interesting how you wind up different from the same environment and the same genetics. So that proves that you are born with certain traits. Okay, that was the 3. Openness, consciousness, and extroversion. The next one is agreeableness, trust, altruism, kindness, affection, and pro-social behavior. Now, I would say you're all those things. What do you...
No, I'm not always. There's a whole lot on that I was not when I was younger.
Okay.
I try harder as an adult to be those things.
Okay.
I mean, I really do try. What about you? This is not fair for me having to
I'm
answer.
sorry. Sorry.
This is
I'm leading the
unfair.
conversation.
Well, you're leading it, but I mean, I've led and I still answered.
Openness. I think I'm open to new ideas, and I'm creative. Consciousness, thoughtfulness, good impulse control. I have a tendency to get distracted sometimes, or think, "Ooh, I want to do that." It's not that I want to give up on the other thing, but something shiny is over here, and that might be a better idea. But and it takes me a long time. Like I can have 5 things going at once, and people say, "I thought we were going to do something." It's still there. I'm still working on it. I have a tendency to maybe think about things too long, but I think I'm conscious of what I'm doing. I don't just do things randomly, I don't think. Extroversion. I was very shy growing up. I mean, like when somebody came over to visit my parents, I would hide behind them. I didn't want to talk to them. Whereas my sister might put on a little show. I've learned an interpretive dance, But even though I was very wide open to people I knew, it's fun and outgoing, but new people I was a little shy. But I just intentionally worked on that. Kind of like you. I'm like, this is who I want to be. Mm-hmm. And when you have self-awareness of how you are, you're not really self-aware when you're young. You don't know I'm shy until people say, she's shy. Then you think, okay, I'm shy. I think labels like that help you think of yourself a certain way. But then when you get older, you think, you know what? I can actually change and be who I want to be.
Right.
That takes a while to do that. Agreeableness, I try to be agreeable. Maybe my affection is not physical. I'm not as demonstrative physically because I wasn't raised that way. With, a lot of physical affection. I always felt love, but not physical affection. I've had to try to work on that. I think I'm pro-social. Someone invites me to do something, I'm not like, no, I don't want to be around people. I'm not that way.
No.
No, when I was younger, I was because I was insecure. Everybody's going to be thinking, I'm going to make a fool of myself, or people are going to judge me, and now I don't care. I'm just like, this is me. If I don't,
Okay.
if the party's not fun, I'll just say, well, nice to meet everybody, and I'll leave. But I don't worry about what people think about me. It's like I used to, which is a gift, and it was very hard.
Gift.
Yeah, very, very hard to get to that point. Okay, I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Neuroticism. I guess that's when you're neurotic, somebody's neurotic about something. That would be sadness, moodiness, emotional instability, and worried about many different things. Now, they did say you could be like high, low, medium. You could be a lot of these things in different levels. You're quicker to cry than I am. But I don't know if it's sadness as much as just emotion. You're emotional.
I'm very
high and low
emotional.
emotion, whatever the emotion is.
I'll cry at McDonald's commercials if like a brother's handing a sister a French fry.
Because he's sharing.
Yeah, just
He's sharing a French fry.
that. I am very emotional.
Yeah,
I
that's to
totally
apologize
am.
for. That's to but I think this is more of like always sad and moody, and you never know what you're going to get. And I wouldn't say that about you. I think when
I
you're
hope not.
when you're sad, there's a reason for it.
Right.
You know, it's not unexpected, or it's not like I don't know, I'm just sad. You know, although we do have those hormonal moments where I don't know why I'm feeling down today. I mean, I certainly do that. You know.
Or I've had too many hot flashes today. I'm over it.
Exactly.
I'm gonna live in a freezer.
So those 5 things and the degree that you are makes you unique. It makes people different than you. The remaining percentage of our personality that's not genetic, like every success or downfall you have, every experience you have, especially when your brain is forming, both good and bad, the knowledge you acquire just by, like say you had parents who fought a lot, you're going to have more of a knowledge of things aren't necessarily perfect in relationships, where if your family's in front of you is lovey-dovey and they argue behind closed doors, you may have a more idealistic view of the world and relationships. Very
I
young.
agree.
Yeah. So, you know, you and I have had different experiences in that department, maybe.
Absolutely.
My parents didn't divorce. How old were you in your family when your parents divorced, if you don't mind
I
me
was
saying?
25.
25, okay. So that was good that they let you get out of the house.
On their 25th anniversary.
Is that right?
Yeah, I had fun.
Okay. But aren't you glad that they kind of stuck together while you were still at
No.
home? You're not,
No.
because it wasn't pleasant.
No, I wish that they had parted ways way long before they did, because it was not doing Sabrina or myself a bit of good.
Okay. So do you think it colored your idea of relationships and what to expect? Or did it make you say, I'm going to have a great relationship?
That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I was like, I do not want anything like this. I want something totally different. I want what's the show? There's a lady.
Oh, Brady Bunch?
Yes. I wanted to have a marriage like they had.
Oh, like a merged
No,
children.
not like a merge.
So you want to have 3 kids and get
I
divorced?
just wanted, because they got along so
I know what you're
well.
saying. Yeah.
And I mean, you know, there was plenty of, you saw like programs on TV and you're like, ooh, that's what I want to have.
Yeah. I'll tell you, my ideal household was Bewitched. This shows how old we are. But I don't think I watched it in reruns. I thought she was the perfect mother. Why? I mean, she was a witch. But aside from that, aside from the fact that, you know, there was be witches and warlocks running through my room and people would be turned into donkeys and stuff.
I know, but there was 2 Daryls, wasn't there?
Darren, yeah.
Darren,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
it.
I liked the first Darren, but did you too?
Yeah.
I mean, the second one was okay, but their relationship was fun, playful, respectful, but it was also a little, you know, touchy-feely too. I mean, there was attraction. You could tell they were
Right.
attracted to each other. It was a friendly relationship. And I thought she was a great mom, and just that whole, they seemed to really respect each other. And he put up with a lot.
Yes.
Considering
because
she was a witch. And his mother-in-law was a pain in the butt, that's for
Oh
sure.
my gosh. Bad.
She would like blink and he would be on the edge of a cliff or something.
I know. I just can't believe you just said, so you wanted a merged family? What?
Well, you know,
mean,
they were both widowed.
I know,
Brady Bunch.
but the thing of it is, I mean, I wasn't hoping I was going to marry somebody and they'd die and I had kids. And then
I thought that's what you meant. That was your
no,
goal.
I was just talking about them as a couple.
Okay, I was gonna say
It had
that is a
nothing
lot
to
of
do
work
with
there.
a
Huh?
merging
I
family.
was gonna say, like, are you gonna murder your husband? How are you gonna accomplish this? And how are you gonna know that you have 3 girls with curls?
I wouldn't. And Marcia didn't have curls.
That's true, with the songs that they did. Oh, the youngest one in curls.
Yes,
The youngest one in curls.
it was Cindy.
Cindy.
Don't. You've just made me mad.
Okay, attitude. And to me, this attitude kind of blends in with personality. If 2 people are faced with the same predicament, they're going to probably handle it differently because their attitudes are different. Human beings are either pessimistic and negative or optimistic and positive. Now, I would say there's a lot of shades of gray in between, wouldn't you? I mean,
Yes.
and I think I'm realistic, and they don't have a realistic thing here. Let me just say, these attitudes can be contagious. If you're raised around negative parents, you might have a tendency to be more negative, and same with positive, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do think that as you get older and the experiences in your life can make you either a negative or a positive person.
Sure.
Because I do have a tendency to look at the world through rose-colored glasses when it's not really all rosy. And so therefore I become unrealistic about it. So when a negative thing happens, it'll just, bam, slam me to the ground. Just because I was hoping and wishing
And
praying
praying.
and thinking that it'd be different and good. And it
So
wasn't.
it blindsides you. It knocks
Yes.
you through a loop. Whereas I
Yes.
might be assuming
You'd be like,
this might happen or this might happen. So I'm going to watch for both.
right. And then you're going to be the person that's just like steadfast, like, okay, you know, I wish it could have been like this, but it's like this, so we're going to rock on.
Yeah.
That's the way you are. You just take it and you roll with it. I get too emotionally involved in some things, and then when it gets then I just
Crash.
crash or crumble.
Yeah. Which is why we need other people, you know, because
Right.
they can fill in the slack.
Right.
That everything has its purpose, I think. And when you say you're too, I hate to hear you say you're too emotional. Maybe you're too emotional to solve that issue at the time, but I don't think you could be too anything. You are who you are. Until it starts to hurt relationships, there's nothing wrong with you being emotional.
Okay.
I think people would be disappointed if you were any other way, but
Well, thank you, Miss Dena.
you're welcome.
I'm
Dr.
gonna owe you
Thompson.
after this.
Now, if it makes you upset and makes you not be able to function like you would like, then it's something to work on. You know, if you're like, I wish this wouldn't drag me down where I'm not saying this is what happens to you, but where I'm dysfunctional for a couple of days, where I think, okay, I get over this before I can accomplish this now, you know, then maybe you might want to adjust. You might want to plan for the possibility that something would happen. I would say, and I don't think my sister would mind me saying this, I'm more positive than she is as far as like, we're going to go do this, and she would say, well, no, if we go this way, there's going to be a traffic jam. We could be in a car. There's all kind of wrecks on that road. We should go this way. And where I might say, oh, I love going this way because I like the views. I like to go over the bridge. I like to see the water. I know it's going to be, you know, it's like I see the positive of what that trip's going to. It's probably not a very good example, but you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And that you can't help that your mind goes to that place first. I think you can work on it, you know.
And then when you ride with me, then you get to see nothing because I'm going so
Too
fast.
I just hold on for dear life.
Water.
Oh, Lord.
I hope you never say, can we go this way because there's this beautiful something, and
You're like,
it'll be gone before
true.
you know it or I.
we're not going to stop and look at no stinking waterfall. We got to get to this place. Yeah, but I think you can practice. Let's say you're like, gosh, people keep telling me I'm so negative, and I'm just sick of my own negative brain. Today I'm going to try to think of the positive in everything. And it can be a habit, habitual. Because if I hang around somebody who's negative a lot, I'd bring it with me sometimes and think, uh-oh, I'm falling into that pattern where
See, that's why I try not to.
yeah.
And I know that's kind of ugly. But I mean, I can't be in a relationship or a situation where it's constantly, you know,
What if this
everybody's
happens? What if this-
everybody's gonna have bad, ugly, horrible days.
Sure.
I understand that, but if it's all the time, I can't do it. I mean, it literally, I feel it physically. It'll just drag me down.
Yeah. And some people, and you don't know where that person is coming from on that. They could have had a lot of bad experiences growing up. Bad things happen to them. So they're just assuming it's going to happen. You know, it's going to happen again. Whereas some people who have had a pretty simple life, like you say, like it would never occur to you that this terrible thing would happen because you're happy and rosy. And I think the glasses thing, I think that's a good analogy that we're all looking through these prescriptions, all these things that happen that we're going to continue to talk about, we got a few more, make your prescription of your glasses that you see the life through. So that's good, Tia. That's a good analogy. We're all seeing the world through our lens, that's a common, yeah. All right. So that was attitude. Perspective, a person's perspective, easy for you to say.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Perspective is their way of regarding things in the world. It's their view of everything around them and their view alone. You and a friend can attend a concert or a movie. So let's say you and I, we were going to a movie, which you would never do. But if we were going to a movie and we were late, we ran in and sat down, we watched the movie and we came out. You might say, good Lord, I didn't think that movie would ever end. Or I might say that. And you'd say, I just thought it was great,
I would too go to a movie.
Would you?
Of course I would. There's two that I would really like to see.
Oh, let's do it, girl.
Well,
I just didn't think you could
I
sit
think
still
they're
that long.
too expensive.
They are very expensive. So I'm going to wait till it gets on like
a
home
matinee.
service. Oh, yeah. Oh, I do matinees, yeah. But, yeah, I think you sent me something one time. You said this is hilarious, a YouTube video, and I watched it and I didn't laugh one time. It's like, I didn't think that was. Now, why is that? It's like, we'll get to humor. Humor is one of the things, but it's your perspective. I could see us coming out of a concert and me saying, oh my gosh, I hate that's over. And you could be like, I didn't think that was ever going to end. Or vice versa. It's just your perspective. That's where perspective and awareness come into play. You can take note of the same things. People can see the exact same thing happening, but interpret it in different ways. This ability to view a situation differently from someone else is another example of what makes each of us unique. Tia?
Unique.
It may not always, see, I say unique, you say unique. That's what makes us unique. Unique. It may not always be easy to recognize, but how you look at life and the way you think are important aspects and contribute to your individuality. Habits. If you have the habit of getting up and watching the news in the morning with your coffee, that's your habit, you will acquire more world knowledge. You'll know what's going on in the world, but you might end up being more pessimistic about the world. Mm-hmm. If you wake up and you say, I'm going to go for a walk, or you do yoga, or you meditate, or you pray, you do devotions, drink some tea, and you might be more peaceful and positive about the world. You're not as worried about things, but you may not understand. You might not be as sympathetic with, a country that's war-torn or being attacked at the moment, or world hunger, whereas the person you're with may say, gosh, I'm just so upset about it. And you're like, what? I don't know. So you kind of have to choose what works for you, I guess. So your opinion of the world with somebody else is going to be different.
Right, but I just think you have to have an even keel. Like, you do have, knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. And so I do think that you need to keep up on world events. I do not think you need to watch it or listen to it even 8 hours a day. I'm sorry.
Yeah, some people leave it on the background.
No, constant. Mm-hmm. And I just think I think it is a downer. I think it just draws everything out of you.
Right.
And like you said, get up and take a walk, do yoga, do devotions, whatever. But give yourself something to start your day that's refreshing. Mm-hmm. And then after you do that, then you can watch the deplorable news.
And of course, the point of this article is whatever your habit is going to color your opinion.
Right.
And your worldview, and maybe in how you vote. You may think, well, I'm not going to vote for them, especially local elections. I'm not going to vote for them because that's not a problem, because you don't know it's a problem, right, because you kind of had your blinders on. So one's not right, one's not wrong. I'm just saying that's what
wait
makes
just
you...
a second.
Okay,
when it comes to voting, now I do actually dig in to who I'm going to vote for. Okay. I actually research them. I don't depend on the television to tell me what they do or what they don't do. I actually just do research on them.
Right.
Because that's important.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't vote. I think if you took a room of people from different backgrounds that had different habits, their daily routine was different. And you said you had a list of issues. Let's say you had 10 issues, and you said, list these in order of most important to least. They're going to be different based on your knowledge and your experience. Yeah, so it's very interesting.
That's very interesting.
Intellect. Okay, this is a fun one.
It is?
I think so. Each of us has an intelligence, some more than others.
IQ's higher than others.
That's exactly what it says. Extremely high IQs, where others are smart in the ways of the world. And some people are smart in both. You don't have to be one or the other. No matter what your intelligence, it's important to recognize and embrace it as part of what makes you unique. Coming together using different intelligence, people who are knowledgeable in different things, makes for a highly successful collaboration in the world. It has for centuries. It takes all these different brains and opinions and knowledge. So I thought, what does it mean to be smart? You know, where some people say, I'm not very smart, or he's very smart. I thought, what is that? What is in your mind? What does smart mean? I know it's hard to define, but
I don't know, because there's people that I know in my life, some are extremely smart in one area, but just not so much in the other. I mean, and I can go through people all the way down.
Let's don't.
I mean, I'm not, but and I think it's important to have book smarts, intelligence, as well as just everyday in, day out, like social, like intelligence, like being able to. That's why I think when I was going to college and I worked in a bar, I think that taught me more about people than anything did. Just because, you know, you're meeting all different types of people, because, you know, I was in a town where it's kind of like, you know, people in and people out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it exposed you to a lot of different.
Yes.
See, where some people can be very, very smart, but they can't get out in the world and function.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I Googled smart. You know how I do. I look up words.
Yes,
So what does it mean to be smart? To have a lot of retained knowledge on many different subjects. Now, this is the definition on Google. On many different subjects, to be able to comprehend new ideas quickly and, again, retain them and then use them in practical life situations. Smart people are generally thinkers and sometimes even overthinkers, so you may be smarter than you think, who feel a need to solve a problem or understand why something is the way it is, and then maybe look at it from different angles. This is partly how your brain is formed. I mean, you can't help it. It's just how your brain is wired together, how healthy it is, how functioning it is. But it can be improved by reading about a lot of different subjects, learning new things from someone else, or learning a language can even stimulate parts of your brain, asking questions, and making learning a priority. You know, you have to be thirsty for knowledge to get smarter. So someone who's smart might not be able to have a productive conversation or even agree with someone who's not smart. You know, they're not worth my time. I can't have an intellectual conversation with them. Well, they're not going to learn from that person, so that can be a bad thing. Someone they consider less smart. Or learning and understanding new things is not a priority for someone. They're like, I'm happy with what I know. I'm living my life peacefully. I don't really have any desire to expand my brain. Their brain might have the skill set to come to conclusions like a smart person does. So a smart person we're facing an issue, and I may think, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I probably should look that up or ask somebody. Whereas a smart person has retained all this knowledge, and their brain goes zzz, 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 and ties it all together. Now, my brain is not like that. I have a hard time retaining stuff. I'm not going to say I'm stupid.
No, you're not stupid at all.
Thank you. But
none whatsoever.
To retain something after I read something, I usually have to go back and look that back up. Unless I use it practically, regularly. Okay, this is a new thing I'm going to do. Then I'll start to retain. But there's some people who someone gets up and instructs and explains it, and they're like, got it. Whereas I would have to be like, wait a minute.
It depends. I was sitting here trying to think. I will retain it if it's extremely interesting to me.
Okay.
I'll retain it. If I'm just like,
I don't need to know that. I'm
well,
no interest in that.
It's not just like, I don't need to know that. It's just like, it just has to get me. If it gets me, I'm going to retain it. If it doesn't get me that much, then yeah, I'm going to forget about it. And then I'd have to go back and look it up.
I think if we did an episode on the brain, there's probably certain things about your brain, about a smart person's brain, that holds that information, whereas some brains just don't hold that information. Or maybe a smart, quote, person, that's their thing, learning new things. So that is interesting to them. Whereas you might be like, I want to learn about, I don't know, just pick something, beekeeping. So you're passionate about, you want to make your own honey or whatever. Or maybe it's a business venture. So you go look up stuff, you read it. It's interesting to you and you want to retain it. Where the smart person just likes to retain as much knowledge as
possible.
That's their goody, whatever the word, that's their thing. Whereas you're a beekeeper, Tia.
No,
Okay.
I'm not a beekeeper.
Okay. That's the first thing that popped in my head. I don't know why.
Beekeeper. I was like, of all the things in the world, and you say beekeeper?
What would you say?
Anything but a beekeeper. I don't know, a kennel keeper?
Okay, there you go.
Wow.
Doggy daycare. How about that? Okay, so your amount of intelligence is going to affect your opinion on things and how you discuss and debate with somebody and interact with people. I think we can agree on that. Goals. We all have life goals. Our direction might take us on the same career path as others, but for contrasting reasons. The end goal may also differ from striving for success, fame, fortune, or family. No matter which path you choose, staying true to yourself is fundamental. It's important to remember that developing a unique persona helps define the boundaries of your values and beliefs and will help you stay grounded in times of adversities. So Tia, let's say a business wanted to buy all the homes in your neighborhood because they had got zone commercial and they wanted to build a shopping center. There are going to be some people whose goal is to profit from their house. That's why they bought it. It was an investment. And they're like, shoot, yeah, I'll take that much money. That's a lot more than my house is worth, and I'll just go build a house somewhere else. Where other people, maybe they have children, and they're like, no, I love it here. This is my home. This is where I want to raise my kids. I don't want to go anywhere else. So you're going to have different goals. Therefore, you're not going to agree. It's going to be a major argument.
Right.
That's a big obvious example, but it could be like more subtle, like a subtle disagreement. Even just deciding where to eat dinner, which I think is sometimes a argument with couples. I go eat what I want when I want because I'm single. But let's say you're trying to decide where to eat dinner and one person of the couple wants to eat quickly and come home because they have something they want to do at home. I don't know, maybe they want to work in the yard before it gets dark and they've got that in their brain. No, let's just go grab a burger and come back. Whereas the other person's been thinking all day, I want to get a little dressed up and go sit down and talk and eat and have a glass of wine at this nice restaurant. There's going to be a clash. And maybe you won't even realize that's why there's an issue. Or maybe you don't even communicate it with each other. So that's where goals and little things in life can cause debate and problems.
Right.
Do you guys ever have that issue about
No.
what to eat? You guys are pretty independent on what you eat and what you do. I mean, you're...
Yes, and if we go out, I mean, then we're just there to...
That's something you've planned ahead of time.
Well,
haven't
no,
you?
we just... do you want to go out to eat tonight? Yeah. And then, we just...
That's good.
We don't ever argue about anything like that.
That's good. That was always kind of a big argument in my relationships.
Okay, well, there you have it.
Because I wasn't expressing,
What you really want.
yeah, which I
Okay.
think that's kind of a thing men say about women. Why don't you just tell me what you want?
Okay, well, see,
don't care.
Greg never has to say that to me, ever.
You always express what you want. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the goals, different goals we all have. Experiences. Everyone encounters experiences in different ways. To some, an adventure might seem like a nightmare to others.
Mm-hmm.
To others, it could be a dream come true. We are all shaped by our own personal experiences, and that's what makes us unique. By understanding that each individual's journey will be different, we can start to understand and accept the differences in others and embrace our own diversity. We also experience love and loss differently. For some, the loss can make or break us. Many may become stronger through loss, where others may never recover. We can never tell people that we understand exactly what they're going through in love and loss. Each situation is different, and each unique person handles these things differently. So I think that's probably the biggest one. Experiences that we've had in our past affect our future.
1000% agree.
Yeah. And some people can just not understand why you can't get over something, why you can't move on. And then you can't understand why they can't understand that you need time.
Right.
And you're in pain.
Right. And I just think experiences, period. It doesn't have to necessarily have to be grief, but just experiences, period, I think form you.
Yeah. If you think even before you meet somebody, if you meet somebody and you're an adult, all the stuff you've been through, even little things since you were born, formed what's in your brain and your perspective on things.
Exactly. Because I'm actually sitting beside someone who has experiences that just rock my brain. You know, octopuses and
It wasn't real.
oh, wait a minute. And drones.
Yeah, I'll be talking about that on our Giggles and Gratitude. Stay tuned for that. Got to update. Yeah, so I think that's why you say, how could that person think that when you read a comment on social media? Look at this, what this idiot said. You don't know their experience.
Right. You've not walked a mile in their shoes.
Exactly. Relationships. This is a big one. Our relationship with our parents, our siblings, our friends, our children could greatly affect our opinion of things. If we had great parents, we might not understand why a friend is maybe cold and aloof sometimes because they weren't shown affection as a child. They went through life differently in their formative years. I've got a few more. Let's just try to get, if you have a thought that you want to say. I mean, obviously, family dynamics is a big deal.
Huge.
I think about people who were, they say army brat or military brat, how they go from place to place. They're going to be different than somebody who stayed in the same house their whole childhood. That might make them more adventurous, or it might make them want to settle down and have a home in one place. I want to make a family and settle down. Creativity. Humans are endowed with many types of creativity. It can come in many forms. Building something with your hands, baking bread, dancing, singing, playing a musical instrument, writing, painting are just a few creative endeavors. Someone who's not creative, for instance, might not think, like funding for the arts at school, they may think, that's a waste of time, because they just don't have that creative bone. And there are people like that, and they're fine people, but they just don't, they think it's a waste of time. Or like they don't want their child to pursue anything that's creative as a career because it's just not in their genetic makeup to be creative. I think you and I are both creative. I have a tendency to be attracted to creative people, whether it's a relationship or friendship, whatever, because I don't get it.
I think you're real creative, but I mean, I just think that all parents should have want their children just to experience that. I still remember my art class in high school.
Oh, really?
Oh, all those clay ashtrays that I made.
I mean, they were pretty.
They were really pretty. And then those paper mache little things. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Even if it doesn't turn out like you want, it's a good meditative thing for your mind.
Right.
A peaceful thing. It lowers your blood pressure. But someone who does not have that creative bone, and there are people out there, it's just like people who don't listen to music. They don't get in the car and immediately turn the radio on. I don't get them. I don't get it.
Well, because sometimes people get in the car because that's the only quiet place they have, like on a commute. I just listened to a podcast today, and that's the only time that they have silence, complete silence. And that's when they spend their time talking to God. So therefore they don't turn on music or anything else, and they just have that commute in complete silence.
Well, see, you just opened my mind with something I didn't consider. I just said, I don't get people like that. I don't know their experience. So you just shared that with me. So thank you, Tia.
Oh, you're welcome.
I will look at it differently then.
I just heard that today, so yay for me.
That's great. But there are some people who say, I don't like music. I can't fathom that. But
I can't make that make sense.
Yeah, maybe they just weren't raised that way, or their brain just doesn't feel comfortable listening to music. Maybe it's too overwhelming for them, or it just doesn't please the way their brain is wired. All right. Passion. Didn't we do an episode on passion?
Yes, we did.
I can't remember what it was called.
Passion.
Was it called Passion? I would like to direct new listeners back to it, but I don't know the name of it. Maybe I can look it up and put it in the notes. But
Was it not passion or did that?
it was about pursuing your passion, not
Passion.
like love passion, but like
Right.
your next, the rest of your story. Is that what it's called? I think it might be the rest of your story. All of us show passion for people or pets, careers, or creativity. We all show passion in different ways and depths, whether it's through the power of words, art, music, or even by simply being an open ear, a good, passionate listener. That's rare. Regardless of how we show our passion, it can shape us into a unique individual and help make a lasting impact on those around us. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. What you're passionate about makes you who you are. And maybe you have no control over it. Maybe partially it's in your brain or it's your experience and what you're exposed to, what your parents expose you to. Did you do your parents take you to this class and then you quit that after a while and let's do this? I don't mean you were a quitter. I just mean you did different classes and different hobbies and as you were a child.
I did all sports.
That's right, you did.
Yes.
You did. Yeah. And you loved it. It's not like you
I
were a
did.
quitter. You just did.
I
That was your
loved it.
passion.
Yes.
Right. And I think that affects, I can see how that affects how you live your life now. You know, you push through because of that sports background. You know, get up, Wimp, that kind of thing. I'm hurting. Yeah, Dena. You'll be like, I'm hurting. And I'll think, well, then we won't do it. What are you talking about?
Yes, we are.
I'm going to do it while I hurt. What's wrong with you?
Rock on.
Exactly.
Come on.
All right, communication. That's essential to life. You have to speak, express yourself, and communicate with others. We communicate with enthusiasm, loudly or softly, with flowery vocabulary, with simple words, with emotion, with gestures, with laughter, with tears, etc. We communicate our whole lives, and circumstances sometimes dictate how we communicate, all in a unique way that is our very own. Our communication style is key to unlocking our unique personality and helps us form relationships and build trust. It can be used in many different areas such as learning, teaching, decision-making, or simply having a conversation with someone. Someone could feel like they never get what they want because they don't tell anybody what they want. Or they could feel like they're a victim. People are always leaving them out or victimizing them, or why does everything happen to them? It's just because they don't speak up sometimes. Like, I'd like to go do that too. Or, you know what I mean? It's like, well, I'd rather go over here first. But, so the group goes over here because you don't say it. And then you're like, I never get to do what I want to do. So communication is key. And it affects your life and how your life unfolds. And people who never speak up and things just happen to them, they're going to probably see the world more negatively than somebody speaks out and says, this is what I want. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously you can carry that overboard and be obnoxious and nobody else gets what they want. But
Right. But I think that we all, just like he said there, I mean, I think that we communicate sometimes without saying a word at all.
Mm-hmm. With a look.
With a look, with your body language and I just think, but I do think it's extremely important to communicate what you want, what you like, what you don't like. I mean, people can't read your mind.
Yeah. And so the thing that makes us unique is our communication style. So once you learn, if somebody's in your life and they're important to be in your life and you learn their communication style, then you can kind of, well, here's what they really mean. You tell somebody who doesn't know them, what they really want to do is this. And you're like, how do you know that? Well, I just know their
them.
communication.
Right. And you learn what you can get across to them in what way.
Yeah. I'm only going to get so much out of them.
Right.
They're not going to change. They're not going to be talkative. So, but you learn them. And just like, I think a lot of times with fathers, maybe they're not as, I love you, I love you, I love you. You know, your father might have been. They're more, they show it by buying you things or making sure you're clothed and fed and coming home every day.
Right.
And working, and that's how they show they love you. Whereas your mom might be very talkative about it, very open about
Right.
that kind of thing. So that makes us unique and can make conflict if your communication styles are different. So that's a big one, I think.
That is a big one.
Humor. Our uniqueness is shown in our sense of humor or lack of humor. Humor is shown hysterically, dryly, sarcastically, and sometimes with abandon. It's often shown at another's expense or along with another as we laugh at ourselves. You know, two people could watch the same comedian, like we were saying, and the one would think they were hysterical, and the other one think,
Yes.
You might think a meme's funny, another person doesn't, a joke, etc. And who knows where that comes from? That's the brain, and it could be experiences that you've had. Like, there could be off topics, like, you know what? That's not just not funny to me because, you know.
Okay, all right. You and my husband, Greg, are a lot of well, actually, so is my other friend, Kim. You all think it's hysterical to watch a video of somebody riding a bicycle and crashing into a fence or they're on a skateboard or whatever, and then they go out of control, go up on and I can't stand. I think that is the most unfunny.
You're worried about
them. I'm worried about them, and you all are just laughing until you're crying. And I'm like, how do you do that?
That's so funny. Well, I don't like head injuries. I don't
Okay,
enjoy
good.
that. And I assume they're all okay.
Okay, right. I know, and as does Greg.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I know what
yes.
you're saying. Slapstick humor.
Yeah.
Or there's intelligent. You probably like more intelligent humor.
Do you like the Three Stooges?
No.
Oh, I can't
but-
stand them. Greg loves them.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was younger, I did.
Oh, I never did.
Yeah. And that really does determine your humor style.
Lucille Ball.
I think she's funny.
No, I do. I think.
Yeah.
Well, you know those cookies when she was walking.
Oh, yeah, the chocolate and the chocolate factory. Yeah, so humor is very unique. What makes you think it's funny. And, you know, I think that, again, you would go back to the brain and back to experiences. So,
Right.
like if somebody made a joke about somebody falling down and breaking their leg or whatever, and the person's like, you know, that's not funny because I did break my leg one time and it was a horrible experience. And you're like, oh, I didn't know that. You know, it's...
Oh, I know, but I don't think that's funny anyway.
Okay, well, I can't think of a joke about breaking a leg at the moment, but
Okay.
I'm sure they're out there. Bad examples today, bad examples. All right. And, you know, I have a tendency maybe to have a more dry or sarcastic sense of humor.
Yes.
Rather than say, look, here's my joke. Da-da-da-da. I just might say something, throw away something that maybe people don't even hear. Or you're kind of in tune, so you'll hear me and laugh. But I think this can cause a conflict because let's say someone was verbally abused as a child. They were told they were stupid. Or it was implied even. And someone they meet as an adult might jokingly say when they do something that is dumb, you know, would be considered a mistake. Well, goofy or silly, stupid, you know, you may say, and that person cannot laugh at themselves because they were raised to think.
Because it triggers them.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that can be a conflict.
That could be a gaslighting thing.
Yeah, exactly. I know you thought you were stupid, so I'm going to say that. But it could be very innocent too, you know.
Right.
Because I have a tendency to laugh at myself and self-deprecating humor. And if somebody said, well, gosh, Dena, watch that hole, you know, if I tripped or something, why don't you just fall down right there? I would think that was funny. I wouldn't be like embarrassed because I tripped or because I fell, because I'm not insecure about that.
I'd be embarrassed a lot of the time then because, I mean, I'm clumsy.
But if I laughed at you, if you tripped and you're okay, you would.
Oh, no, I'd be
I feel
laughing
like you would
with
be laughing.
you.
Yeah.
No,
And you
I
know
would
I'm not.
totally laugh with you.
Yeah. Where some people would not.
And I
Well,
would
you
be
think it's
doing-
funny that I almost fell down? You know,
I don't know how people could do that because, I mean, that's just funny. I mean,
Yeah. And it could be that they were.
if they're not hurt.
Yeah. They were raised in a household where they got pushed and people laughed at them. You know,
Yes.
it's not funny for them to fall. So that's just another, like I said, the whole point of this show and this article is understanding or trying to accept that people are going to react differently than you because of their experiences, because of all these things. I know a woman who will say something intentionally funny, like she's making a joke, and I laugh, and then it just strikes me as really funny, and I start, you know, laughing, how you just start belly laughing, almost with tears, because you just think about, that was hilarious what you just said, and then their face will kind of darken, they're like, are you laughing at me? You know, they get, I think I'm being laughed at, rather than what, it's really strange. It's like it twists on a dime.
Somebody?
Yeah, you have to be careful how much I laugh at what they say. You know, what's the thing out of Goodfellas or whatever? Oh, you think I'm funny, huh? Or what's so funny about me? You know, and they were like, well, you said something funny, but then it turns into a psychological drama about I have to laugh just the right amount, you know.
Okay, I don't know. I would never know how to do that.
Yeah, it's
because
scary.
like sometimes if I get tickled, well, we've done it, and then we don't know what we're. At one point, you just don't even know what we're laughing at because we already laughed at whatever was done or said. But then we just get tickled at listening to ourselves laugh. I mean, I do that with a lot of my friends.
I love it. It's the best.
And then I get tickled at listening to my husband tell a joke, and he'll laugh at his own joke. And I'll get tickled at him laughing at his own joke.
Yeah.
And he'll laugh before he tells the punchline.
So you're laughing at that part.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's say somebody was trying to tell a joke, or let's say somebody's trying to say something and they reversed their words, and then they kind of laughed at themselves because it sounded funny, you know, they screwed up. And then you laugh too, and you laugh together. They stop laughing. If you keep laughing, that's when it gets, you're making fun of me now.
Okay, I could never do that.
Stress you out to be around
No,
me too much.
I would not. I'd just say, no, I cannot be around you.
It's not fun. It's
Ever.
not fun. But our humor is different. Okay, and finally, taste. Our differences are shown in our personal tastes. This ranges from the food we eat, to the clothes we wear, to the company we keep. Sometimes we share tastes with others, perhaps to be polite, but we never experience them in the same way. Uniqueness makes us taste foods differently and have dissimilar tastes in such things as clothing, cars, art, and music. I find that interesting too. Like, did you see what she was wearing? I know, wasn't it beautiful? No, I thought it was tacky. You know, it's like, how does that form? How does
Tacky.
You know, it's like leaving a party, or even like best dressed. You know, when you and I, we watch award shows or whatever, and we talk about their best dress. Well, no, I thought that one was horrible. Well, no, that was the best. You know, it's just your
That was the
taste.
very best one.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? But it is funny that, especially like tasting foods,
Yes.
like because, like, my mom, dad, and my sister and myself, we hardly like any of the same things.
Really?
Yeah.
So when she raised you and she was cooking a certain meal,
I would hide
wouldn't eat-
mine and put it in a napkin and throw it away.
oh my God,
Or swallow peas like pills.
not chew them. You didn't want that texture popping in your
No,
mouth.
I just didn't like the taste of them.
So you just swallow them whole. Yeah, I mean, you were just born that way, you know? It's like,
Yes. And I mean, I just don't think that you should force feed kids things that they just really do not like.
Yeah. Well, if you and I were having a conversation and we were ordering at a restaurant and I ordered something and you said, "Ooh, I can't, oh gosh, I could not eat those." You can't understand why I would like them, and I can't understand how you wouldn't like them.
Right.
And so the purpose of this article is people are different.
Exactly.
You know, start to understand that. Okay, so we've gone through taste. So, in conclusion, Tia, I think your analogy is great about the glasses and all our experiences make our prescription that we're seeing the world through. So if I handed you my glasses, it would be blurry. You can see through it.
No,
You
I
don't-
think it would be hysterical.
Yeah, because I'm basically blind, so you would run into the wall.
No.
But wouldn't it be cool if you could say, look in through my glasses for a minute, and I could look through yours?
Yes, absolutely.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it? Ooh, we just got deep. And you could see what
Ooh,
I'm
we
saying.
didn't even mean to.
Quote. Let's imagine people say, can't we all just get along? Wouldn't it be great if we just all tried to achieve the same goals and had the same, and like, I'll get a little political for a second. Say a new president comes in, they say, I want to work with everybody. We're going to stop this divisiveness. We all want the same things. We're all going to go to the same. No, that's not true. It'll never be true that we all want the same things. I mean, I think we all want to be happy. Let's say that. But how we get happy is different to different
Right.
people. So what would the world be like if everyone agreed? Would it be good? Let's see.
Mm-mm.
If everyone in society agreed on everything, there would be no incentive to search for different opinions or to improve things. People might become contemptuous of the way things are and not make an effort to investigate further. There might also be a lack of inspiration and motivation, as there would be no exceptional individuals to look up to or strive. Somebody say, "Wait a minute, I disagree. Can I disagree? what if we did it like this? And everybody like, no, we don't disagree. We decided we don't disagree. Some say that if everyone agrees with everything you say, you're a people pleaser. This gives people the feeling of entitlement that at any moment things should go their way. However, life shouldn't be like that. We should be able to disagree and remain in good standing. According to Leanne Davey, a team effectiveness advisor and professional speaker, collaboration needs tension, disagreement, and conflict to improve the value of ideas, expose risks, and lead to enhanced trust. So you're shaking your head. No, I wouldn't want a world like that. Tell me what your thoughts are.
Boring.
Exactly.
I mean, and it's kind of like what I've said before. It's like, just because you play a sport, you get a participation trophy. Bad, wrong.
Right.
You get a trophy if you place first, second, or third. That's it.
Right.
Done. And I do agree with what she said. Was that was a she?
I guess I guess so.
I agree that there has to be differences and there has to be some kind of tension and stuff. That's what makes the world go round. However, I don't think we need to be polar opposites and separated where we don't at least try to at least listen to the other person's opinion and hear what they're saying. Mm-hmm. You may be surprised that you might go, wow, I never even thought about it like that. Because, again, you've not walked in their shoes. You've not experienced what they've experienced. And I think that's what we should do is listen. Like if you meet somebody new and if what they're wearing or whatever just automatically turns you off, don't let it. Just sit there. You really may be surprised at things that you learn, things that you just, wow, that was fun. Mm-hmm. I had no idea I was going to enjoy myself this much.
I agree. You miss out on a lot. And I think a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this too, they don't listen. They wait to say why they disagree with you. The person's saying, that box is red, but you really think it's maroon. So you just want to say, no, it's not, it's maroon, rather than listening to why they think it's red.
Right.
Yeah, so just listen. You don't have to agree with them when they're finished.
Exactly.
Okay, this is this article's conclusion, what we get from this. If everyone agreed on everything, like you said, it would be boring. Would you really hang around people who agree with everything you said? That would get dull after a while.
Oh, I couldn't stand that.
I agree, Tia. You're right, Tia. All right, Tia. Your brain would just turn to mush, I think. Imagine no matter who you met, you would know exactly what they were going to think and say and do, because it's going to be exactly what you would think and say and do. You could couple with anyone. I mean, you can marry anyone or date anyone because they're all going to be the same. They're all going to think the same thing. What we have to be able to do is coexist, like you were saying, with differing opinions. Attempt to understand that those opinions are coming from something that it's like a big stew of experiences and the chemicals in the brain and the makeup of the person's brain. You don't have to understand how could they think like that? Why could they think like that? It's because they are not you.
No.
They are a different person. So in order to truly let your persona shine, according to this article, it's important to find the right balance between staying true to yourself while also understanding the importance of adapting to fit into situations. Like if you worked in a place where you disagreed with everybody in your office that you got to do a project with, you've got to learn to adapt. Stay true to your feelings, but get the job done. And try to still show your authentic self. So I don't agree with you, but for this I'm going to let that go. We're going to get this done. I don't even think, you hear that thing, I respect you as a human and I respect your opinion. I don't even think you have to respect someone's opinion. You do have to respect that this is a human being with feelings, if we're going to be good people, But you don't have to respect their opinion. Because there are going to be opinions that are way against your morals, your values, your belief system. So you don't have to do that. So the expression, can't we all just get along? No. No, we can't. And it really shouldn't be the goal. The goal should be to accept the differences. You just have to accept that there's going to be conflict. You don't need to change their minds or solve the issue of your disagreement. You cannot handle all that. It's not up to you to do that. You can actually read a ridiculous comment on social media and just scroll on by, Tia.
Certainly can.
Or you can actually type it out and then delete it. Just erase it. I do that sometimes.
That's a good thing.
So I hope this helps people, and me too, find a little peace about all the craziness that people say. You watch stuff on the news of people protesting certain things that you disagree with. You think, what are you doing? Whereas if they're protesting something you agree with, you might think, look how brave they are. It's like all your perspective. So do you have any, just accept that you can just turn that TV off. You can just let it go because you can't change that situation because we're all unique for so many complicated reasons.
Yes, and I would not ever want to live in a world full of me's.
That might be fun.
That would be horrible.
A world full of Tias. Maybe a few more would be fun. A few more would be fun. All right. Well, we hope we gave you some things to think about. I mean, a lot of it's obvious what makes us different, but I think just accepting it will help you have more peace in your life, even if it's just with your family members, your friends, or the whole world in general, in a bigger picture. We're never all going to agree. Tia, we have a Giggles and Gratitude this Sunday that we want people to tune into. Giggles and Gratitude, if you're new, is where we just talk about our week, things that made us laugh, things we're grateful for. And it will be Memorial Day weekend when we record that.
Will.
So.
Yes, it will.
All right. Do you have any final thoughts, Tia?
No. Other than thank you. I mean,
I appreciate
that was really, really good how you took that article I sent you and just that was extremely good. I learned a lot.
Well, I appreciate your thoughts and I appreciate you bringing it to us. Please do more of that because it was good. It was good. It was good. All right. We love you guys. I love you, Miss Tia.
I love you.
And we hope to see you Sunday.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
We would love to hear from you.
Leave your questions or comments on our voicemail by visiting our website at denaandtia.com. Your message may be played on the show.
You can find our Instagram and Facebook links there too.
Again, that's denaandtia.com. Thanks
Thanks
for
for
listening.